So my sons is very unique in their selection process because it has to be a standard. And if you ain't got the standard of morality and spirituality and a willingness to build something and not just get a free ride, it's not going to work. Not with my sons.
I love it, man.
Sir.
So, share, if you will, this is Fresh Friday, one of the freshest moments you share with your dad that you had with your dad.
There's so many. But I would like to reflect on something that transpired in my younger days. So to keep the story authentic, I grew up single parent home, mama, grandma, auntie, cousin, and my biological father was alive and present, but not really as involved as I would have liked him to be. But this man right here stepped in the picture, and when my mom welcomed him in, that was all he needed. And when he came in, he really just came in like a whirlwind and changed my life. So really, I was talking about this story the other day. I used to sleep on the floor. When I got older, I couldn't sleep in the bed with my mom anymore. So, I used to sleep on the floor because we only had one bed. And he came over one time and he saw that I was sleeping on the floor. And like the next day I had a bunk bed. So to me, when you are a young man and you have a new father figure, a new male figure stepping into your life, it can be challenging. But one thing that he did do was make sure that the priority that he placed on my mother, he placed that on me as well. So I was treated with the same love that he was given to my mother. And that's really rare for men these days, especially to come into a situation where it's not your son, but to treat me like I was his son. And
my firstborn.
And I could take a whole hour and just talk about the things that he's done, but that sticks out to me because it's so major for him to come in and immediately get to changing. So when I think of him, that's him right there. If you got something going on, he gonna come in and swoop in and solve the problem for sure.
But the thing is that when I met my queen, I had a son, and little Shahid Emmanuel, and he was only 2 years old, and my son here was 7. And immediately I told him, I said, because I didn't take long to marry his mother. I swooped her right away. It didn't take me long at all. I proposed to her in 3 weeks from the day I met her to marry me, and I married her 5 months later. We've been married now for over 34 years. So it didn't take me long at all to recognize my responsibility, because the key thing that I learned is that a man is judged by how well he maintains and provides for his family. And so I knew my job right away, that here's this beautiful woman and this very handsome. He was very cute, when he was a young boy, and I had a very beautiful son too. And so I said, we family, and we about to make this thing work. And so to God be the glory. That's what happened. But again, it was accepting responsibility, understanding the responsibility when you come in the door. So when I came in the door, I knew what I had the interest. That's one thing. But now you got to back that interest with action and production and manifestation. So I couldn't play with this thing. It was serious. And so that's why I was able to do what I was able to do, because I was willing to accept the full responsibility. And I embraced him like he's my son. So I had to my baby ain't sleeping on no floor no more. Because that was that first night. By the next morning, I couldn't wait for the furniture store to open up. And I was like, no, we taking this out of the store and we going right on over there, and I'm going to put it up. And so when he come home, he know that he ain't sleeping on no floor no more. Ain't no son of mine going to sleep on no floor. I don't care what's going on. And that was my attitude, and that was my position. So I know the show is called Fresh Fridays, but I came fresh, and I don't think it was on a Friday. But I'm gonna stay fresh 7 days a week, 24/7. Let me tell you something, brother. I'm coming fresh 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You understand what I'm saying? And I even leap in the leap years. So we gonna make this work. So that was my attitude.
Man, well, you know, if you hadn't told me that, man, y'all definitely look like y'all could be.
Well, they say if you feed them long enough, they start looking at you. It's a true statement. It's a true statement. You know, oh well, I've been feeding for a long time, and you know, it's bumps in the road as most parents will have with their children. But but you got to keep staying in there, and you got to keep God in front of it. You got to keep God in front of everything. So if God is not at the foundation of your essence, I don't care what belief system you are, but you got to have, because there's only one Creator that created the heavens and the earth. So if you don't have God at the front of your heart and at the back of your mind, then you in trouble. So I had to keep praying and keep being prayerful, because you know my wife is a very prayerful woman. So therefore we gonna pray up something, and we gonna pray through it, and we gonna get through it. So you have trials and tribulations, and they say it is written in Scripture that your greatest test is in your family, from your children and from your wife. That's your greatest test. And so therefore, it's always incumbent upon me to understand, no matter what I go through with my family, it's a test. And whenever God bless you, He put a trial next to it. You understand? He just don't bless you and just let you keep going on your merry way. No, you got to continue to show that you're worthy of that blessing, and you're willing to go through whatever you need to go through. So for my family and for my children, man, I'll go into hell with a gasoline jacket on, and I'm coming out untouched.
I love it, man.
I believe him too.
With that being said, what are the Father's 10 commandments that you govern your life and your family by?
Well, see, that's a very amazing question that you just raised.
And restate it and answer the question with that.
Yes, that's a very. You say what?
What are the 10 commandments of fatherhood that you
well, the 10 words of fatherhood, or for me, for what I guide my children, is the principles of the 10 words that the Creator gave to Moshe, Musa. Those are the 10 words. Those are the 10. In the English language, it's referred to as the 10 commandments. If you come into my home, you will see very sacred on the wall the 10 commandments in a beautiful frame. Very royal and beautiful frame, and it's always been there for my children, because our house have to be governed by the instructions that the God gave to man. So when Moshe brought it to the children of Israel, it's for a reason. It ain't just for you to repeat it. It's for you to govern your life, the application of it. So it's called, actually, and you can, if you don't believe me, you can go to AI or Google and just put in 10 words. It's going to show you what the 10 words are. And then they say it refers to the 10 commandments in the English. But the 10 words, or the 10 sayings, which were the most elite of the 613 instructions from the Creator. So I put that in my children to understand that if you live according to these 10 principles, and you live your life and govern your actions by these 10 principles, then you will be pleased in the eyesight of the Creator beyond the ceiling of the earth. You understand? So when you go into the heavenly court, they will say, "Job well done, my good and faithful servant." So therefore, I live my life according to those principles, and those are the principles that I put into my children. Now, sometimes children think that they created these thoughts of their own. No, brother. It's because the thoughts and the ways come from the Creator. And so through nourishing them and guiding them and disciplining them and tough love. Oh, you spare the rod, you're going to spoil the child. So I ain't trying to spare, but I didn't try to give them what I got. I got abuse. I got beat with baseball bats and sticks. I got beaten with extension cords and 5 belts tied together and beat till the buckles came off. But I never abused my children. But I was firm with them, and I was strong. So they knew that my voice can shock fear in you. So therefore, but I wanted them to understand, if you fear God as you fear your father, and you fear God 10 times more, then you're going to be all right. Because you're going to always seek good and always do good. And that's the 10 sayings. And so that is what I instilled in my sons and instilled in my daughter. So, you know, they live their life and the trials and tribulations that they going to have to go through. But if they reflect on the good of what I represent as a man and look at my good, not as my bad, pay attention to my good, and it'll get you through.
So what are those 10 words again?
They are actually, but in the English, they are the 10 Commandments. So, you got to honor your God. You can't use force. You can't use his name in vain. You can't commit adultery. You can't commit murder. But you got to understand what he's talking about on that adultery. He's a jealous creator. So you can't go to bed with another God besides him. And so therefore, people have to also have the correct understanding of these 10 words or these 10 commandments.
Mm-hmm. So, the 10 Commandments that were instilled in you, what would you say are some foundational principles that have been instilled in you that you will instill in your children?
One that I probably put at the paramount is honoring your father and mother. Mm-hmm. Today it's challenging because of how relationships happen. You might not have a good relationship with your mother or father, and maybe one wasn't there. Maybe you felt neglected by one. Maybe you feel like one didn't understand you, or it could be a myriad of various thoughts and feelings that you have about the situation. But the honoring and the reverencing your parents is inner knowledge that without them and without the guidance and the caretaking and the leadership and the love that they give to you, that you wouldn't be in the situation that you are today. I could say 1,000%. If it wasn't for this man right here and my mother, I don't know where I would be. But they have supported me through everything. It doesn't matter what it has been, the ugly, the beautiful, the good, the bad. So for me, honoring them is something that I take to heart, probably more than anything else, because everything else is easy to me. I ain't murdering nobody. I ain't stealing from nobody. I'm not doing none of that. But to me, honoring your parents through the journey, because like he said, sometimes there might be some places where you don't see the eye to eye. You might have disagreements. There might be bumps in the road along the journey of how the relationship grows and fosters. But the thing that always remembers that without them, I wouldn't be here. So by honoring them and showing reverence to them, I believe that I call blessings upon my life in that same honor and reverence that I have for them. My children will have for me because of how I love them. That's what it is. Parents think, I brought you into this world, you got to respect me. Okay, that's cool. I'll take that. But on the other side of it is that it's also your responsibility to ensure that my development is happening properly, because I didn't choose to be here. You the one that made the decision to do what you did, and so as a result, I'm here. So that guidance and love from them makes it easy to respect and honor them. So for me, that's top over everything else.
Let's unpack that for a minute. What does it mean to honor parents?
Well, that's everything. How you speak, it's a certain tone. Don't use a crazy tone. Like I don't cuss at my parents. We cuss sometimes, but that's one thing my mama don't like. She don't, and my grandmother used to cuss too. So, like a sailor. And we picked up some of that from her. But my mama, I never heard her curse. So, that's one thing that she's big on. Both of them actually, profanity. So, like, if you know they don't like that, that's honoring them. Not speaking down on them, that's honoring. When something is requested of you, of course, within parameters. You ain't gonna say yes to everything because you are a human and you have, respect and boundaries. But good parents, God-honoring parents, don't request anything of you that takes you out of His will. So it's not hard to make the request. It's not hard to answer the request because it's only for my benefit. It's only something that's going to bring a blessing to me. And also being an example to the rest of my siblings. Now that could be to me, it has been a heavy crown to wear. But at the same time, I believe that it has shaped me into the man that I am now, to where I don't have any children, but I have godchildren. I have nieces, I have nephews.
But you're looking to have children.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But I enjoy the opportunity to to be there as a guide and someone that can come in and provide when necessary. And like you said, that's if you're a man and you coming into a situation, whether you're building a family or you going into a situation with a woman that has a family already, if your mindset isn't to improve and build and uplift, then you might not be ready for it.
Leave it alone.
Just step back.
Step back.
So, a lot of times you can learn a lot just from sitting back and watching. And I've been very observant of my pops. I've been observant of my mother. The things that they have taught me, I have done my best to add them into my arsenal. And my greatest wish is that the same love and encouragement and support and experiences that I was allowed and honored to have at their hands, I just want to keep that cycle going.
And if I may add,
and you can add your comment. Let me say this real quick. What would you like to share with fathers about honoring their parents and honoring their children? But go ahead and plug in what.
Well, the key thing is, I would like to share about what is written in the sacred writings in regards to this particular word or saying or commandment, whatever is your preference of understanding. When it says, honor thy mother and father so that thy days will be long, it means also when your parents are no longer able to attend to themselves, you are not to put them away somewhere. You see, you understand that you are not to put them away. You are to take care of them. That's how you honor, so that your days will be long. Because then if my children treat me this way, and their children see that how he treated his parents, their grandparents, then it will let them know what is required of them when he get of a certain age, that they must care for him and tend to him. So some say, well, I ain't got time for that. What are you talking about? You don't have time for what? See, the Creator is very masterful in what he expects of us as human beings in our human inclinations and our requirements. And that is why he says his ways and his thoughts. Because when we get old, he don't throw us away. That's not his thoughts. That's not his thoughts in terms of his ways of how he treat us when we get old, when we get of age. So he said that if I do it and I'm the master, and you are my child or you are my servant, then what you think you are required to do when they get of a certain age. So that is what is meant about that particular saying and commandment or word. So I wanted to add that because my son, he just dropped some jewels, and I sit here and I'm just excited like fire in me to just hear my son feel that way about myself and especially about his mother. Cause so it brings joy to my heart and tears of joy, because it is a beautiful thing to hear your children speak of you in such an honorable way.
Awesome, man. So what message do you have that you would like to share with fathers as it relates to fatherhood and principles of instilling these principles into?
Well, a man should never allow anything to come between his duty, his deed of the protection and provisions of his children and his wife. And that is his responsibility. So he should never allow the ills of this society to hinder him from his responsibility and neglect his children. The worst thing is for your child to cry for his parent, to cry for the mother, or cry for his father. And another man is in the home because you fail to stick to your responsibility. So no matter what happens between the man and the woman, you still have a responsibility for the upkeep of your child and the protection of your child and the safety of your child and the protection of your child And to make certain that, one of the things, my son can bear witness to this. One of the things I used to do when my children was young, even if I fell asleep before they went to bed, I would wake up in the middle of the night and go in everybody's room and look at them and kiss them on their forehead or put the cover on them. It may be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Why did I do that? That was my duty. I can't call myself a king or call myself, I'm the lion. I'm the king of the jungle. And I'm not concerned about the upkeep and the safety of my family. So I always prioritize. Before I got myself something, I made sure they had everything they needed. And whatever my hand was able to call for, that is what they got. And believe me, God blessed me to do a whole lot of things.
For sure.
He believed me. He blessed me to do a whole lot of things. And see, that's when God knows the sincerity of you, brother. And I'm going to speak to you right now. Because you have a responsibility. That's what manhood is about. And that's what manning up and taking to your responsibility. I don't want to hear this about no baby mama drama. The heck is that? This ain't no Tyler Perry production. This is a kingdom production. This is a godly production. And when you are a man and you reproduce yourself, that is your responsibility to take care of yours.
Awesome. So, what is the biggest lesson that you learned from your father? I know there could be
a lot of them. But I'll choose one.
Yeah, share a couple. If you want to share more than one, that's fine.
The biggest one that I could say is
the biggest one. What? Like
get done. The biggest thing that I could say learning from him, from observing, would be
lesson that I learned.
That's what you want me to say?
Yeah. What's
the biggest lesson? Because one of the biggest lessons.
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons.
That when it's time to get something done, just get it done. You can't tell him got to do something and then be trying to sleep or do it the next day or something. Get it done.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
This man wrote a book in 10 days. A 200-page book in 10 days.
Just get it done.
It's 300, brother. It's 300. 300. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the thing.
I'll say get it done. And
you one place here. Okay, thank you. Okay.
And the other biggest thing I learned, which I have yet to apply, but when my time comes, is just watching him be the provider, be the protector, be the priest as well. Because you just can't come in and toss some money, but you're not bringing no spiritual enlightenment. Like, you got to be able to guide your children in some way, so that when you're gone, they'll have precepts to attach to their lives that carries. That's where the legacy is.
That's good right there.
Because we could talk about the money part all day. The type of stuff that my brothers and I experienced in his life, it probably some young black men would probably dream about it in a fairy tale book, but it has been reality for us. And so with those things, I'm understanding that, man, it's not just about what you can do, but it's about your spirit and your heart as well. The love, to me, that's what it is. The discipline is love. Seeing that I have a problem and attending to it, that's love. Giving me correction is love. All of those things are love. So for me, if I could pull it all into one thing, it's just love. Like, the love of a father is a love that, like he said, puts everyone else before himself. The rest of the household is paramount. And I think that is something that the scripture taught, and it's something that is just a natural law. You gotta, the father's responsibility, the man's responsibility is to do that thing, because it's a building that gets passed on, so that the rest of us have seen, we watched the example, we observe, and now we can apply that into how we father, how we are men, the way we interact with our community, how we treat how we treat women, how we treat children, all of those things. So that was just a couple of things that I could say about the greatest lesson.
Yeah, well, you definitely shared some great information, man, in this 30 minutes. How can people, follow you and find out what else you have going on?
Well,
him first or both of us?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
The key thing, you can follow us. You can follow my activities today through the Voices of Organic Black Men.com. www.thevoicesoforganicblackmen.com, because I'm involved with a bunch of some very amazing black men all across the country that's on the front line, that believe in the essence of manhood, believe in the essence of responsibility as a father, as a man, as a community voice, and we are doing some fabulous things all across this country. And so that's how you can follow me. I have a book, I Am a Survivor. You have to get it. You can go to the website, IamASurvivor.net, and you can purchase a copy of the book. So that's basically how you can follow me. You can send messages on the voicesoforganicblackmen.com, and I will respond to it, and we can make something happen.
All right, and state your name and spell it for me.
My name is Nasik Emmanuel Shahid benAvraham. I'll send it to you in a text.
Okay.
Again, C.J. Williams. That's C.J. Williams. Very simple. In addition to being an educator over 12 years, I'm the general manager of Trap Music Museum, one of Atlanta's most well-known places of entertainment and history. So stop by there, of course.
You're a Morehouse graduate.
Morehouse graduate, yeah. Hold on. You're a Morehouse graduate now.
It's true. Yes, sir. Okay.
It's true. I've been out of school for a little bit, so that'd be a little cherry that I toss in there when people talk to me. That'd be like my little trump card. But I'm Blue in the Trap on Instagram, on all social media. That's my thing. I don't really have a website. But stop by the Trap Music Museum. Come show some love and support. Black business, black people supporting black business. Help keep us going. Help keep the community with energy. And it's a beautiful place. So if you ain't been there, come.